how in the world is this series going 5 games? What? I seriously don't know. The Cubs win 6-0. The Cubs win 6-0 in Game 4 to force a Game 5. I don't know how they did it. I don't know why all of a sudden they looked like a competent baseball team. But they did in this one. They shook Freddie Peralta early, and Matthew Boyd actually came to show up in this one. Now, before we get too deep into the weeds or anything, I've got a little video I want to show you that I recorded last night after the game was over, which will explain why it's daylight out and I'm uploading this a day late. Hey guys, I'm throwing this in the middle of the video here, kind of just to show you me the night of the win. I'm very tired, and I am not going to record this reaction right now because I didn't watch the game. Well, you might be asking yourself, well, why did you want to watch a playoff game? Why didn't you watch a playoff game? It's a playoff game. It's an elimination game. You got to win. They're at home. Why didn't you watch it? Well, I'll tell you what. I was preoccupied with other things going on in my life, and more specifically, I was preoccupied with another sporting event I was attending. Now, no. I didn't, go blow off the game to go to some random sporting event. No, I called my first football game tonight.
Harris looking to throw, quick out, spinning is Chris Bosch into the end zone for a Comets touchdown.
Yes, for those who don't know, I am an aspiring sports broadcaster, and my dream job is to call NFL and NHL games. That has been a dream job of mine for at least half a decade now, and I got to call my first game. I mean, that was awesome. I've called several games before. It's not like this was the first time I've ever done anything like that. No, I've called hockey plenty of times. I've called baseball for a couple of years. I've called some lacrosse, some soccer. Heck, I've even started to call some volleyball. But this was the first time I got to call American football. And man, that was so much fun. I was doing it solo too, so I didn't have an analyst by me, but I didn't care. I was there, and I was calling a football game for the first time ever. It didn't matter how it happened. I don't care that the team that I was calling for lost. I was just happy to go out there and get my first football reps. So that's a long and elaborate way of telling you all wonderful people I didn't watch the game. I didn't watch it. I straight up didn't watch it because literally this football game started at the exact same time the Cubs Brewers game started. Cubs Brewers ended after the game had finished, but the game was already over at that point. I got to see Michael Busch homer. That was about it. That was about all I could catch. So I'm letting you know now. I'm also a little tired, so I'm going to sleep on it, and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. Anyways, that's it. I mean, I just want to let you all know that I didn't watch the game, A, and B, the reason why. And kind of share a personal update, in my life and my career as well. So enough about me. Let's talk about the Cubs' big-time win over the Brewers in Game 4. So, anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this game. I'm not going to be as descriptive or I'll mention a couple of the big moments, but I'm going to talk about this more from a general perspective on what this game means for the team and what it says going into Game 5 type stuff, more so than like big events that happened in the game that wasn't any runs scored, right? So we'll see. Let's talk about it. If there's one thing I do know, it's the fact that the Cubs have now hit home runs in the first inning in all 4 games of this series. All 4! In a series in which the Cubs have had little to show offensively outside the first inning, first inning's been phenomenal. In 3 of the 4 games of this series, the Cubs have scored 3 or more runs in the first inning. So they're getting off to good starts offensively. The big question that we've all had is, can they find the bats after the first? Again, just 2 runs all series long past the first. up until this game. Dude, that Ian Happ homer was electric. I'm telling you, that was so cool to watch back. I mean, of course, I didn't watch it live. Saw the TBS broadcast replay, saw the call from Pat Hughes, listened to the Nat sound of the home run. I mean, that was so cool. That crowd erupted. They were already on their feet. See Freddie Peralta pretty much jump in frustration. That is Ian Happ's signature swing of his career so far. At least I think so. Well, I can't feel happier for Ian Happ. If I'm not mistaken, he is the longest tenured Cub right now. And he gets his signature swing, especially compared to what his first home run in this series was, which was after it was 9-1 in Game 1. This one, at home, in an elimination game, in the first inning, with the Wrigley faithful completely going nuts while you hit that ball out of the park. It counts not just for 1 or 2 runs, but for 3. I mean, that is a huge swing for Ian Happ. He's still got it, man. God, I love seeing it for him. So, yeah, it looked like the offense was going to slump again after the end of the first inning. But that changed in the 6th after Matt Shaw delivered an RBI to put the Cubs up 4-0. Matt Shaw just barely gets enough on it, kind of like a golf swing almost, hitting that ball nearly off the ground and over the second baseman and the shortstop at the same time, right into center field. Kelly scores from second. Cubs go up 4-0. And then in the 7th and 8th, it'd be 2 solo home runs from Kyle Tucker and Michael Busch to add onto the offensive performance. And the Cubs would ride on to a 6-0 win. I mean, let's be honest. Just by looking at the box score, this is their most complete game of the postseason. First time they get a shutout. First time they score more than 4 runs, too. So, by far, their best performance. And it inspires a lot of confidence going into Game 5. But I also am holding my doubts. I'm going to try and have cautious optimism. Because I'm not going to lie. Part of me was like, I just wish they'd lose this game and get it over with. Because I knew if they put a good performance together on Thursday, like they did in Game 4, you got that hopium, you got that belief. You start to believe again. And it just makes the fallout that much more painful if they lose in Game 5. So you kind of almost rather, if they were going to lose in 4, lose in 3, instead of force Game 5 only to blow it. So, I mean, to be fair, they were down 2-0 in this series with 2 bad performances. And they forced a Game 5. That's pretty good result right there. If they win Game 5, it'd be just the second time ever the team rallies to win 3 straight elimination games in a row. The only other time, obviously, being the 2016 World Series. The thing that happened in this game that I'm very, very happy about is that this pitching staff did not get off to a bad start. Again, games 1 and 2, they got off to horrible starts. Game 1 allowing, 6 runs in the first inning? In the second game, after going up 3-0, allowing a 3-run homer with 2 outs. In Game 3, they weren't as bad out the gate, but they did allow a run in the top of the first. And they kind of surrendered 1 or 2 more runs. The Cubs did just enough in the first inning of Game 3 to survive in that one. The pitching staff took command, holding the Brewers to just 3 hits all game long. Matthew Boyd almost made it through 5 full innings. Daniel Palencia did a good job in relief. And then it was smooth sailing after that. So, really good work from this pitching staff. Even though I didn't really watch it, I could already tell just from the box score. Much, much improved from how the first 3 games went to this one. Especially by the fact that they got a shutout. I just can't believe they looked that good. I just can't believe that they played a very, very, very complete game of baseball. Honestly, we're super impressed. This Cubs team is also, can we just admit, this Cubs team has been living and dying by the long ball in this postseason. I mean, the amount of homers this team has hit in these playoffs is outrageous. Michael Busch has 4 homers in the postseason. He's played 7 games. He's about to play number 8 on Saturday. I mean, he's having a really, really nice postseason. And after having a very, very quiet 34 home run season, he's really making his presence known in the majors with 4 postseason homers. Look, man, that was insane. I mean, they turned to Matthew Boyd, who played on short rest in Game 1 and was absolutely shelled. He gets more of a traditional rest. He gets about like 5 days rest with a couple of days off for this series. And he looks good again. What do you know? A starter getting rest is a good thing. And not rushing them out there is a good thing, Craig. Look what happens. Boyd played well. I'm interested to see what they decide to do for Game 5. I would expect it's Shota Imanaga. And you just hope the homer that he will inevitably allow isn't a big one like it was in Game 2. I don't know how to feel about going into Game 5. I really don't. Because I don't know who the Brewers are going to start. I wouldn't be surprised if they start Jacob Misiorowski. And if that's the case, I don't think they're getting any sort of run support early like they have it for the rest of these games in this series. Because when he came in Game 2, that was the turning point. That was the turning point in that ball game because they shut down the Cubs bats and the Brewers bats decided to wake up right after and get themselves a 4-run lead before Misiorowski left the ball game. I would not be surprised if he gets the start in Game 5. They could also turn to Jose Quintana, but he also pitched in Game 3. I wouldn't expect it to go to him. They could turn to Ashby, but he was pulled super early in that game when he started in Game 2. So I don't know what they do, but regardless, they've got plenty of options. That was awesome. But I'm trying to have cautious optimism because I've seen this happen so many times where it could be in a series, it could be in a singular game where teams down, they're expected to lose or the fans expect them to lose. They play well to start or they start making a comeback and then still end up losing in the end after the comeback falls short or they have a lead early and lose that lead, whatever you name it. It's happened so many times with these teams in big moments. I fully, not necessarily expect it to happen. I kind of expect it to happen, but I also know it very well can happen. And I'm going to try and stay cautiously optimistic for the best in Game 5. But I don't know if their positive momentum is going to run out, making the trip back to Milwaukee. As again, the playoff atmosphere was off the charts at Wrigley Field from what I've heard from people. It was absolutely outstanding in Game 4 and was probably a big reason on why the Cubs were able to play as well as they did. The big question is, can they do it on the road? That's the problem I guess I'm having too. Because, yeah, they've won 2 in a row, but both those games are at home. They don't get to play at home in Game 5. Milwaukee has destroyed them in the 2 home games that they have played in this series. They get to be at home for Game 5. I don't know, man. It gets me a little nervous, and that's another reason why I'm just trying to stay cautiously optimistic, but also know it very well could go south quickly in Game 5. We made it to Game 5, guys. Winner take all for a second consecutive series. But I don't nearly feel as good as I did going into Game 3 against San Diego. I feel really nervous. The stress is going to be at a very, very high level on Saturday. Very, very high. So you're going to want to hit that subscribe button because you're either going to see me on Saturday overjoyed at a reverse sweep or mad and frustrated that the team in Chicago couldn't find a way to beat the team in Wisconsin in a big moment yet again. Because the Cubs have won 2 elimination games against teams in Wisconsin. Those are 2 big wins against the state of Wisconsin. But this is the one that really matters. No one's going to remember these 2 wins if you lose Game 5. That's the end deal. So got to go out and win Game 5 if you want people to truly remember this moment. If not, Wisconsin gets to celebrate with another victory over Chicago, as they have done so often in the last decade and a half. So that's it. Give it a like if you liked it. Hit the subscribe button if you really want to see more videos from me and possibly see that elimination game coming up on Saturday. Keep the conversation going in the comment section below. How do you feel about this series going to a 5th game after the Brewers are up 2-0? And who finishes it off? And without further ado, I'll see you all in the next one.